What's up, everybody? Whew, I don't know about y'all. What a crazy day it's been with the Fed going on. So, welcome to this week's edition of Black Box Beat. We'll give you the word on the street. I'm Kang.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Hells.
FOMG FOMC. What a Wednesday, right? I kind of feel like I don't really know how to feel. I don't know if I'm super excited that it's just over. I feel like we've just been waiting and waiting and waiting for this day to come, for us to finally figure out what happened. As you guys know, we went up a quarter point. We had some wick whacks there in the markets, and I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say.
Mario, I don't even smoke, and I think I need a cigarette. Like, been a crazy day. Oh, it's been a crazy day. And what was interesting about the whole thing, we normally see those kind of gyrations, technical term there, like while Powell is speaking. And it was, for a minute there, I thought we were really going to try to hang on to that 4,000. But what range we got today went up to like almost 40 and then just nosedived into the close. I mean, oh man, that was crazy.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a crazy day. It's like, but I think that when you get some of those gyrations and you get the market kind of frothing the way it was coming into something like that, it kind of speaks to the lack of confidence that the general market has in the Fed in general. I think that's probably the biggest thing to look at. How while the message is somewhat consistent, there's a real divergence there in what the market is anticipating and thinking, what they view the economy to be, and what the actuals actually are. It's there's just when it comes to a complete and utter level of overall incompetence. When the chairman of the Fed says we didn't see it coming, we have no idea how it happened, I have no idea what's going on, but we're just going to keep on doing what we're doing. That's basically what he said. There's zero confidence in that.
I was like I said, I was watching it, and then all of a sudden he talked about. I think the biggest thing that I took away from it is the disconnect between what the market was feeling and what he said in the presser today. And one of the things that kind of rung out to me was leading into this, Fed funds futures were anticipating like 2 to 3 rate cuts before the end of the year. It sounded very similar to last year. And then all of a sudden, I think he really threw the cold blanket because we were close to HOD. And he really threw the cold blanket when he said that the cuts for this year, at least, were not in their base case. And I think that really caught the market off sides.
Yeah, he
I
said
do
that a couple
too.
of times.
Sorry, I
Go
was
ahead,
just gonna
Mark.
say, at the end of the day, like if we kind of just look back, I'm not really surprised at them raising the quarter point. And I understand. I know I've said this before. I do feel like they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, right?
Hmm.
We're in a situation where how do we combat inflation when basically all of our other tools have been exhausted, and also in a situation where nobody wants those increases. We want decreases, or we want to pause. And we can. I know Helza has said it multiple times, and other people in the room. What he should have done was raise rates, wait a little bit, rates, wait a little bit. But obviously he didn't do that. So it's kind of like, yeah. Would I have liked a different outcome today? Yes, I would have. I would have loved to see a pause. I would have loved to see a cut. But at the end of the day, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not surprised in the raise. I think a raise. Obviously, we're not meeting the objective. Obviously, we're whatever their plan was that they put in play, it's not working. Because if it was, you want to be breaking stuff. So it's like the plan isn't working. You're breaking stuff along the way. Inflation is still high, and you're still targeting the most vulnerable. That's your plan, and you're sticking to that. Mario, you said something. They're caught between a rock and a hard place. They somehow wedged themselves in between a rock and a hard place. So it's like
They did.
to sit back and be like, oh well, they have no other choice. Well, sometimes in life you have a lot of choices before you actually get in between a rock and a hard place, which is where they are now. And I'm telling you, one of the biggest things I think, Kane, what's interesting, and I think you're right, and we'll agree on this, the market was anticipating rate.
What?
I
What?
know, I know, I know, I
I
know.
need to play the lottery tonight, man.
I
What?
know, I know. I'm going to agree with you on this. So just write it down, whatever you need to do. The market was anticipating rate cuts, right? We know that. And when you talk about price stability, when you talk about confidence within the Fed, when you have Fed funds rate going up and down like a penny stock over the last month, like it has, that says no
Mm-hmm.
confidence. There is no
Mm-hmm.
confidence in what he's saying or doing. Okay, so now we get into the moment today. The market had positioned to go up. It wanted to go up so damn bad, it was ridiculous. It was just like, no, I don't care. Apple's going to 162.50. That they cared nothing about what was going on. That's what they were doing. They were ignoring him in totality until he point blank said, rate cuts are not in the picture. And I think if you go back to the ECB with them raising 50 basis points, right? After
Yep.
they raise 50 basis
Mm-hmm.
points and save a bank, that's cute. Really cute, actually. And then they say, hey, we're not seeing the inflation coming down. Inflation actually ticked up in Great Britain. And so they're going to stay the course. There's a lot of cover being provided by the global banks right now saying, hey, we got a bigger fight on our hands with inflation than throwing some cash at some banks. That's the reality.
I'm sure he didn't. I don't know if he looked at this, but I was thinking this morning too. He's seeing like names like it's like meme stock mania before today over again. It's like GME was running to the upside, BBBY was running to the upside, and I think another thing that I took away from the presser is that they do not want to be the Fed of the '70s, and the reason why I say that is because he's referenced that in past meetings where basically he said, you know, we don't want to let this get entrenched. We don't want to pause. And then that's what happened in the '70s. Pretty much they paused and the inflation would kind of, when they thought that it was backing off. And then ultimately they had to raise rates north of, 14% in order to really crush inflation. And so he said it a few times today that they do not want to let that get entrenched in the economy. And I think that, I know that, it looks like they want to put people out of work, but what I really want to look at is we have 60-year lows on unemployment. So 3.5 is really not, in line with historical standards. So we're really, really low on unemployment right now. But again, I think that it really hurts, those the it really hurts the frontline people, the middle class and everyone in that area when you have inflation that is running it as hot as it is now. So I think that that's number one on their list. And he said that a few times today. They're not going to stop until they get inflation down to 2%.
It's funny. Hell's talked about reinstilling confidence back into the Fed, into the financial system as a whole. And then Ken, you also brought up job growth and things like that. And every time I hear anyone from the Fed or anyone on TV ever say it, it kind of makes me giggle. It's like, you guys are doing too well. Stop getting jobs. Do worse so we can stabilize. And that
Mhm.
doesn't really make me feel warm and fuzzy, but at the same time, we do have to reinstill faith back into the system, right? So it's really a tricky type of situation, or it's a tricky, yeah, situation. It's a tricky situation.
Yeah, and I think to summarize it at the end of the day, for me, it's like just look at the scoreboard. Everything you've done is wrong. You're breaking banks now. You're continuing to look. You're continuing to target people, target American citizens because you did a bad job. It's like, and then look, this is the audacity moment. Well, actually, these banks failing are going to tighten up credit standards, so that could help. So that was your plan. You're going to break some banks so people can't get credit anymore. It's absolutely outrageous the stupidity that came out of that man's mouth. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we watching, everybody? What are we watching? I know what I'm watching. I'm watching a lot of crazy action and a lot of crazy stuff. I think one of the things that's difficult on days like today and weeks like this, and even last week, you have so many binary moments that sometimes your best bet is to not necessarily put on a trade until that binary moment kind of fades a little bit. I think for today it was like that. Tesla is a ticker that everybody knows that I am just full on married, just locked up until eternity. I think that we're going to get a pretty good dip on Tesla. Look, worst case scenario, I'd look in that 170 area to see if it gets down there, and I'm going to go ahead and play snatch as big and hard as I possibly can. Flow on Tesla up until today, and even during today, was very bullish to the upside. So I'm looking for any type of a retest in that 170, maybe low 180 level to go ahead and start building out a very massive position moving forward. However, with this being said, the caveat being, I don't trust Powell that he has any idea what he's doing to save anybody ever. So I'm going to have to be very cautious moving forward with literally everything that I do.
I like it. I like Tesla. Tesla is one of those ones. I don't like to hold Tesla, although I know you've done incredibly well with doing so in the past. I'm hesitant to hold it, but I do love trading it. So I love these areas. I love the levels. I like the chart. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I want to wait on it to come in just a little bit before I start messing with it. But overall, I do like Tesla.
So what am I watching today? Well, I'm watching Flow, right? Because we've been waiting for, I feel like, ever for today so that we can see what happens with Flow tomorrow and the next day. So I'm just gonna watch my Magic 8 Ball. That's all I'm watching. Will we get Flow
Hey,
tomorrow, this week? It says I'm scared if I flip it, you won't be able to see it, but it does say signs point to yes. So I'm waiting for Flow. In the meantime, we're looking for intraday opportunities to maybe day trade, catch a few points here and there. But ultimately, Flow has been stupid. It's been messy. It's been stagnant coming into today. And I think that over the next couple of days, we'll start to see how serious the market is about putting some money to work.
Yeah, I look, I agree. I think it's difficult. I think it's going to take some time to digest this, especially when you start talking about markets winding up with just run that we had into today. They were winding up to go straight to the moon. They really, really were. And then now you counterbalance it. And that was on the back of potentially having rate cuts. Now you, in theory, take those away. Do we trust him or not? It's not as if he does a good job at anything. So what do we do? Are we going to see that? Are we not going to see that? What's the messaging? I agree completely, Mario. It's just you have to be patient more so than ever when you have something like this and let it digest.
how's you sound so affectionate toward Powell today?
I can't stand the dude. I can't stand the man. Everything he does, you could not keep a job in McDonald's with what he has done over the last 5 years. Well, you see, I did this and then I broke this and I broke that and I did this. It's like if I'm shoveling snow and I break a window, the lady's not going to say, "Hey, good job for shoveling the snow." She's just like, "Look at the damn window, you moron! You broke the window." Yeah, but it's like the snow's gone. It's like, come on.
Well, Maury, I'm with you. I had to pull out my 8 ball too from our eight
Yeah.
ball days. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I shook it too, and mine was positive too. As I see it, yes.
There
So
we
I'm with
go.
you. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just going to be watching cash. I think on a day like today, I really want to see what's going to happen tomorrow. I lightened up on some positions today to take advantage of this move down. So I know we've talked about in the past, like in the rooms and in the community where you have like a 3 day rule. So I want to let things kind of shake out just a little bit, kind of see what happens tonight in futures, see kind of what Momo we get either up or down toward the end of the week, kind of let the dust settle a little bit. So that's what I'm looking for.
I like
All
that.
right.
And I'm
Okay.
curious
Now,
though. So we pulled back what 1% today off of the high after Powell, but we're still up on the week, right? I didn't get a
that,
chance to look right before close.
I don't know. I think we're still up on the week, but
We're
I'd
Okay.
have
we're
to
we're,
double check.
we're close, but it depends. It's like there was a real divergence between the three indexes. So I'm not real sure about IWM. I know the Dow has been
Yeah.
sketchy, and it's down 1.63% today. I guess Nasdaq Composite down 1.6 on the day. SPX down 1.65 on the day. So we did fill the gap that was in there from a couple of days ago. But it's like, again, look, I'm not a big proponent of being like, oh, I need to be all cash or I need to be cash or anything. But I actually agree with Kang again twice in the same freaking show that
What?
that these moments in time when there's so much like legitimate uncertainty. The dude doesn't know what he's doing and he's in control of all the money. It's like, so you can't be out there placing bets. You just can't.
I don't know whether to put on my crab hat or my tinfoil hat today. I'm kind of confused.
What do you mean? I've given you two compliments. What do you want from me,
No,
Kang?
I
I think
appreciate
we
it.
need a happy
I'm just saying, I
hat.
don't know. I don't know which one to put on today. Let's get right on into the next segment, folks. We have a member question here from Kool-Aid77. The question is this week: I struggle with trading on FOMC days, Federal Open Market Committee days like today. How do you recommend playing the volatility without getting killed by the action? Mario, what you got?
Okay, so since again we've said it before, since this is a binary event, I usually tell our newer traders to sit on their hands and just watch. There's nothing wrong with just watching how things unfold, right? You can't lose money if you're not trading it, but you can sit back, watch, and just learn for future Fed days. For more experienced traders, I always tell them just to be super cautious. You need to size down. Don't try to front run that move. That first move is typically the wrong move. And if I didn't get a chance to fully glance after Pell spoke, but I think we had a quick pop and drop at first. So first move was initially wrong. So for our more experienced traders, you got to be more patient. You have to size down. You can't just be chasing something because it's moving. It is so much more important just to keep or stay true to your technical trading, right? Buy support, sell resistance. I know we see these big old Roman candles and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss out on this trade. I'm gonna miss out. It's okay. You need to wait for a good risk reward spot, buy it there, and just stay patient and stay small.
I totally agree. It's like based on the way the last couple have gone, if I were to give anybody advice who's struggling with Kool-Aid and FOMC days and stuff like that, go do something else. Go walk the dog. Do something else. Like literally, just don't even boot up the computer. Don't even look at it. Just go take a walk. Go take a walk. Feed a duck. Go just do something. Just do something other than if you have that trepidation about it and you know your history around these days and getting caught up, just don't do it. Don't do it. Do something else.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, I agree with you guys 100%. I mean, FOMC days can be kind of crazy. Generally, what we see is kind of slow action leading into the event, which is jokingly enough, I always tell people like, look, if you got something to go do, kind of like you were talking about, Hells, if you got something to do, go mail a letter or go to that restaurant you always wanted to go do something or someone. Hey, keep yourself active, right? And as Mario was talking about those Roman candles, don't chase them, folks, because they could blow up and wind up somewhere. So, just I would say FOMC days are an exercise in patience, and we always like we just said, the first move is always the wrong one. Wait, don't feel like you have to get into anything. Kind of let that wash over you. Unplug your keyboard or mouse if you got to, and just kind of wait. And
Yeah.
patience pays off, because I mean, I would hate to get caught in any kind of that run up today, although it was a good scalp, because obviously we now saw that 4,000 break, and that there were rolling sell programs toward the end of the day, so we saw that downside was more profitable. So you can get that by waiting. You don't have to be in anything right away.
I think one thing I want to add on to that is like if you're going to insist on trading, make sure you walk in with a plan. We have the luxury of having Bender in the Roadhouse, and he does an exceptional job as far as laying out levels pre-market as far as areas of interest. If you mark that out as a part of your plan, being like, well, hey, if we get down here, I'll take a shot long, but you've already decided that you're not going on instinct. You're waiting for it. If we get up here, maybe I'll look to take a short. And all this area in between means nothing to you. So if you approach it from that standpoint and you're very disciplined in setting up your plan, you got a chance to win.
For sure, for sure. And folks, we love to hear from y'all. And moving forward, like if you have a member question, please submit that either in the comments or hit us up at BlackBoxBeat at BlackBoxStocks.com, and we will get your question answered on one of our shows live. So make sure that you send that to either in the comments or BlackBoxBeat at BlackBoxStocks.com, and we can get that answered for you here in one of our shows.
But we know what time it is right now,
It's time for Mario making that money.
So it is time for the weekly winner, right? I have for us TSM today. This is a position that I opened last week on Thursday. And actually, interestingly enough, they bought a shorter dated expiration that I actually bought and sold last week. And at the same time, they bought the May $90 calls. It was over $1 million in premium. They came in at a decent area of support. You can see we're now moving up into an area of resistance, which, we'll keep an eye on and see. I did sell 3/4 of that position this morning for roughly 65%. Again, keeping an eye on things, I believe, up to 105. I'd like to see us clear that area. And ultimately, I would love to see some tack on either into that line, into new lines, or just into the semi sector as a whole going over the next week or so. So again, 65% on 3/4 of the position, and anticipating what additional move we might get out of this one.
Brilliant trade, Mario.
Awesome.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Brilliant
guys.
trade.
Awesome.
Great work. You nailed the flow. You saw the flow. You hit it. That was absolutely a gorgeous trade. Good job.
I
Hella
appreciate
stick
that.
in those semis too. That's awesome.
Right? I was like, I don't know if I want to buy this. We've got Powell next week. Maybe I'll just wait. And I was like, no. I looked at the flow again. I'm like, TSM typically works out. It's rare. And this is what I'll say. It is very, very rare for TSM flow to not work. What doesn't work for people in TSM is their own exit, right? So oftentimes, it's not that the flow didn't work. It's just that your exit didn't work. So TSM flow has always, knock on wood, has always been phenomenal for us. And I was excited to see it.
Woohoo! Congrats on that trade, Maria. So glad to have everybody here with us. Please make sure that you like and subscribe on YouTube so that you can get those. I'm turned 40, so my brain is slipping, but I know we got to go. So that you get those alerts when we basically put out new content. So make sure you like and subscribe. We're so glad that you joined us, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Until next week, stay green, everybody.
Bye, guys.